Hey guys, Chris here. I'm finally back in the Polestar 2 and this time with the latest software update. And I'm so excited guys to have this car again with the update to test the range, efficiency and charging improvements that Polestar claim. That's what I'm going to do in this video and my upcoming videos on this car. We're going to be a few videos on this car because we're going to put it through all the tests, the Norwegian high-speed run, the charging test, everything. But before we do that, we have to try to make a baseline, because just going out and doing the Norwegian high-speed run in this car, which is my big standardized test where we put the cars into a chart, we rate them and then we rank them and we collect all this data. When I did that with this car last month, it was minus 11 degrees Celsius. Now it is plus 5 degrees. So of course, if I did that test today, we would get, better range, better consumption and also faster charging. That is a given, and we wouldn't be any wiser for doing that. So we have to try to do something else to just get a baseline. So what we're doing today is we're taking the same route I did with the Kia e-Soul just a few videos ago, from here in Oslo down to Drøbak, east to Askim, north to Lillestrøm, and then back again. A big circle, 185 kilometers on a mixture of country roads, motorways and stuff like that. It's not a very high speed run. I think it's around 70 something kilometers an hour in average speed, but that will give us a baseline because the conditions are very similar to the Kia e-Soul when I did that test in the last video. I don't think we're going to get close to that Kia e-Soul, of course not. That is a much more efficient vehicle, one of the most efficient EVs on the market, but it will give us a very good baseline for our further testing. Oh guys, before we set off, if you want to support the channel, there are a few ways of doing this. First off, you can click that like button, hit that like button, or smash that like button down below. It really helps YouTube to push my video to more and more people, so that is much appreciated. Thank you very much. Or you can become a subscriber and sound that notification bell. That is much appreciated. Thank you very much. Or you can become a patron by donating to the channel. Really helps me with paying for all this charging, especially the fast chargers at Circle K are like 5 kroner per kilowatt hour. And I think last month I spent like 4,000 kroners just making videos and charging at Circle K alone. So yeah, becoming a patron really does help me. Or lastly, if you want to get something back, you can buy merch from a merch store. My 0% State of Charge merch has now been updated with the new bigger logo, the white label, 0% State of Charge merch. I think it's very cool. So per request from you guys, I have updated the line. So thank you very much. We have just emerged out of the Oslo Fjord Tunnel, and guys, our consumption is a bit high. 21.5 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. Yeah, that is about 1.3 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers more than we had in the e-Soul on snowy surfaces. It is damp outside now, and yeah, so I think we have similar conditions to what we had on the wet run with the e-Soul. So yeah, I was hoping the consumption would be a bit closer, but we'll see as we get further into the trip, because I haven't checked the wind. I don't know if we have a headwind or a tailwind or a crosswind. That might affect the consumption, so we'll just have to see if it drops. But I just want to mention, guys, that being back in the Polestar 2, it's such a quiet and comfortable car. I mean, the driver's seat is so well sculpted. It's just super comfortable to sit in. This thing just feels like a tank. It's so solid. I mean, it feels like a proper premium product. We have just passed Askim, and our consumption is now 22.1 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. But we have been on this stretch of motorway for about 30 kilometers. So I'm, counting on the consumption to drop somewhat. And now when we're going northward, we should have a tailwind, because I did check the wind map, and from Oslo to Drøbak, we did have a headwind. So that would of course give us a higher consumption. So it will be very interesting to see with the tailwind when we get to Lillestrøm what our consumption is then. We are now approaching Lillestrøm, and let's check out our consumption, guys. We are now down to 20.9 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, which I still think is high. But we will see what the consumption is when we get back to our starting point in Esso in Ramstadsletta. But yeah, this car is so nice to drive. I mean, I've been enjoying this trip so much. It is a real driver's car, but also is comfortable enough where you're not bouncing around and, you know, just breaking your back because the ride is so harsh and brittle. It's so well damped and set up and engaging at the same time. I'm really growing fond of the Polestar 2, to be honest, guys. Okay guys, we are now back here at Esso in Ramstadsletta. We are charging here behind me. So we're going to see if we are getting any speed. So I just connected the charger here, and we have been on the road for 2.5 hours. Not the quickest of speeds. Our average speed is like 75 or 74 kilometers an hour. But let's see what kind of speed we do get. And we connected the charger with 41% state of charge. So not the lowest percent state of charge. But I mean, we have gotten speeds of like 120 previously with this state of charge. So let's see if we are getting any decent speed. 66 kilowatts and climbing. So it seems to be climbing just a little bit, and that is interesting because I can't remember the Polestar 2 ever doing this while charging, you know, climbing in speed while charging. So that is very, very interesting. So the big question is, what kind of speed will we get? I mean, we will of course be limited because we are at 44% state of charge, and I don't, you know, I haven't memorized the charging curve of this car. But yeah, 70, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. I mean, it's not the best speed, 70 kilowatts at 44%, but still, it is climbing. Okay, so once we hit 45%, it throttled down to 59 kilowatts, and now it's climbed just a bit to 63. And I remember this car having a very strange charge curve where it, you know, throttles, climbs, throttle, climbs. And yeah, so I don't think we're gonna get any more speed than this. But yeah, let's go ahead and go inside and then check out the consumption on today's trip. Today's consumption was 20.1 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. The trip took 2 hours and 33 minutes, and we had an average speed of 74 kilometers an hour. The temperature fluctuated, you know, between 4 and 6 degrees Celsius. So the conditions were very similar to when we did this test with the Kia e-Soul just a few days ago. And I want to use those numbers and compare those numbers, not to compare the two cars because these are two different cars and I, you know, didn't expect this car to come close to the consumption, but we can use the Kia e-Soul as a baseline. So its consumption was 17.0 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. The time took 2 hours and 38 minutes, and the average speed was like 72 kilometers an hour. So a bit lower, but that consumption is 18%, or this car uses 18% more electricity on the same route as the Kia e-Soul. So we can use those numbers as a baseline because we can take that number and we can theorize the consumption on this car on the Norwegian high-speed run. Which I will do tomorrow. And I did that with the Kia e-Soul where it got a consumption of 20.3 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. So if we take that 18% increase in consumption, that should give this car a theoretical consumption of just below 24 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. But I suspect that the Kia e-Soul being so boxy and tall, you know, it is basically a box through the air. That car is more efficient at lower speed that this test, you know, demonstrates than it is at higher speed. So I'm suspecting that the difference will be smaller when we go on a motorway. But this is all theory. This is just my hypothesis. Because if we take that consumption 20, let's say just to, you know, give it a round number, 23.9 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers on the Norwegian high-speed run. When I did the same test in the blistering cold with the Polestar 2 last month, it was minus 11 degrees. We got a consumption of 24.7 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. So getting 23.9, well, is to be expected because we have much milder temperatures. But when I did the Gothenburg test, which is basically the same length, it's 610 kilometers versus 615, and the average speed is was 96 kilometers an hour, and the Norwegian high-speed run, you know, has low to mid 90s in average speed. That had a consumption of 22.4 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers on dry roads and between 6 and 14 degrees Celsius, so much milder temperatures. So I'm expecting the consumption to be somewhere in between 22.4 and 23.9 kilowatt hours. So the closer it gets to that 22.4, the more we know that this car has actually improved in efficiency and in range. But it remains to be seen. I will do that tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. So depending on, you know, how I upload these videos, it will be the video uploaded tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. So guys, still pretty unconclusive. We don't, you know, really know the increase in consumption and efficiency, but hopefully as we do more and more tests, we form a better idea. But guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please drop me a thumbs up down below, and for more car content, as always guys, please subscribe. See you guys later, and goodbye.